everybody. I hope everybody is doing great this week. So this week I thought it would be fun to make another pop-up card, but we are going to do a cat in a box pop-up card. And here it is. It says, I love you. And we have this cute little cat here. And then we open it up and it says, meow and forever. And we have this cute kitty in the box. And I just love his little tail and feet, how they stick up. And then we have a place down here to write a cute little message. And it just folds up so neatly in the box. So let's go ahead and get busy and let's head over to Design Space and I'll meet you there. That we're here in Design Space, these are the two free items we are going to be using this week to create our pop-up box. So go ahead and run over to images and get those so we can get started. And let's go ahead and do this paw first. It's the easiest. So what we're going to do with this paw here is resize it. And if we go up to the width and we put in, if we put in 0.577, it will change it, and it'll also change our height to what we need it to be, which is 0.574. And then we can right click and duplicate, and we'll have the two paws that we need. Then let's go ahead and go to shapes and get this little guy right here. Go ahead and rotate him 180 degrees. And then we are going to resize it. We're going to resize it to 0.714. And it should change your height to 1.078. And then once you have this, we're going to go all the way to the top and we're going to make sure our X and Y are on 0. Then we're going to go to shapes. We're going to get a score line. We're going to change that score line in the height by 0.685 to rotate your score line 90 degrees, and we are going to place it the X at 0 and the Y at 0.875. Grab the score line and then the paw and hit attach. Then we're going to take one of our paws that we did, and I only put 2 of these paws on my back 2 feet, and you're just going to take it and center him anywhere he can be inside above your score line is fine. And then I want mine to be pink. And then once we have that, move that to the front. Then we'll grab it all and hit group. And then we're going to need duplicate it one time because these will be our back feet. Okay, so we can go over to the layers and click on the paw and hold your shift key and click on the score line and then right click duplicate, and we need 2 of these, so we're going to duplicate that again. Make sure those are attached to each other, and then we can group these together and then move them out of the way. Okay, now let's pull up our cat, and I want you to make your cat 5.546 in width, and in height make it 6. Then once we have that, I want you to ungroup it, and then we're just going to move these 2 aside, and we're just going to work with this brown piece here. Okay. Then I want you to go to shapes and get a square. And then with that square, we are going to make it 0.569 by 2. Then we are going to rotate this 322.99 degrees. Now making sure our cat, the brown one, is on 0 for the X and the Y. And then we're going to position, after we rotate it, the square, the X to 2.803 and for the Y 3.516. Then we're going to grab it all and hit slice. Then we can get rid of these pieces. So we should have something that looks like this. Let's go to shapes and get this square this time. And then we're going to resize that to 3.486 by 3.486. Making sure cat we now want on for the X at 0.028 and for the Y at 0. Okay. Then for our square, we want the square, the X to be on 0 and then the Y to be on 3.5. Okay. Then we're going to grab it all and hit slice. Then this is what we should have left. We can get rid of all of this. Once we have all of that gone, we're going to go into contours and we're going to get rid of this little piece here. So let's go to contour and get rid of that piece. Then we have these two pieces left. So let's right click, duplicate, and then in one we're going to keep the tail and then one we're going to keep the head. So whichever, it doesn't matter which one you choose. Okay, and then once we have the head, we're going to move it all the way up to our far corner. Resize our head to 2.406. And it should have changed your other side to 2.007, which is exactly what we want. Okay, and now this piece is done and we can move it to the side. Now with our tail, want to make it 1.349. It should have changed the other side to 1.381, which is what we wanted. And then we're going to take it and move it to the side. Then we have those two pieces done. So let's go ahead and with this yellow piece here, it's really simple. We're going to right click, duplicate, okay? And then we're going to contour. For this one, I'm going to take away the body and this part of the tail. So let's go into contour and hit hide everything. And then we can go back and hit the eyes, the nose, and the whiskers. And then once we have that, we can go ahead and resize it. And we want it to be 2.247. And it should have changed your other side to 1.732, which is what we want. Excuse me. And then that will be the piece that goes on top of your brown. Center front. So it'll go like so. Then let's go with this piece and get rid of everything except for this little tail piece. So if you hit hide all and then undo the tail and then click the face, you'll have this piece. Now we want to resize that piece to 1.008. So let's do that. And then that piece goes on top of our tail like so. Okay? So we have these pieces done. Now let's get our brown piece. Let's make sure our cat is the same size. I have it at 5.546 for the width and for the height at 6. And then my X we're going to need to put on 0.014 and the Y on 0. Okay? Then we're going to take our square and we're going to resize it to 3.486 by 3.486. The X we're going to put at 0 and the Y we're going to put at 3.5. Then we're going to grab it all and we're going to hit slice. Okay? And then we're going to get rid of all of this other junk that we don't need. So we should have this piece right here. All right, so now we can put our cat back at the X at 0. We're going to go into shapes and we're going to get a square, this one. And we are going to resize that square. We're going to resize it to 0.569 by 2. Then I want you to rotate it 322 degrees, 0.99, so 322.99. And then we're going to put the X at 2.789 and then the Y at 3.53. Okay, we're going to hit slice. Then we can get rid of all of this right here. And then we're going to right click, duplicate. So on this one, I'm going to get rid of everything but the head. So I'm going to hide all and it should leave us the head. Then on this one, let's go in and get rid of everything but the tail. Okay. So with the tail piece, we just need to resize it. And we're going to resize it to 1.355. And that should have made our other side 1.392. What we can do is take all of our other pieces we made, send this one to the back, take these and put it on top. So this will be your back piece, and then these two will be your decorative pieces that you can change to different colors if you like. And then we can group it all and move it to the side. Now for the head, we need to do is resize it. To resize it to 2.407 by 2.007. And then let's go to shapes, get this square, and we are going to make that square 1.112 by 0.417. Okay, now our head, we can put the X and the Y on 0. And then for this piece, we want to position the X at 0.647 and the Y at 1.991. And then we're going to grab it all and hit weld. So we have this nice little piece here. Now let's go ahead and resize that to 2.407 and then your height should be 2.408. Okay? Once we have that, let's go to shapes, get a score line. We're going to rotate that score line 90 degrees. We're going to make that score line 1.083 in height. And we making sure your head is at X and y is at 0, then we're going to position that score line at 0.682 for the x and the y at 2.014. Then we're going to grab it all and hit attach. Then we can send this to the back. And then these two pieces we put on top like so. And then we can group them and then just move them aside. Okay, so let's go to shapes, get this shape right here. We're going to make it 3.5 by 2.403. Let's go to shapes again, and we're going to get a square. Now let's position our blue piece, the x at 0.25 and the y at 0. Now let's take that square and we're going to resize it to 0.819 by 1.986. Then we're going to position it over here on the left, the x at 0 and the y at 0.208. Then let's right click, duplicate, and then we're going to position this one at 3.174 and then the y at 0.208. And then we're going to grab it all and hit weld. Then we're going to go to shapes, get a score line. We're going to make that score line 2.398 and we're going to position it at 2 inches. The x at 2 and the y at 0. Then we're going to right click on the score line, duplicate. We're going to resize that line to the score line to 1.962 and we're going to place the x at 0.764 and the y at 0.222. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place that one, the x at 3.25 and the y at 0.222. Then we're going to grab it all and hit attach. Now let's go to shapes and get this oval here. And I made this, rotate it 90 degrees, and I made this to be a decoration on his belly to, like, you know how some cats have spots on their bellies? And I made this piece 2.009 by 1.419. And then you can grab it all and hit group. So now we have that piece done. Go to shapes, let's get a square. And we're going to resize that square to 2.5 by 10.5. And then we're going to position the x at 0 and then the y at 1. Then let's go to shapes and get another square. And we're going to make that square 2.5 by 1. And we're going to position the x at 2.5 and the y at 0. Then let's right click, duplicate. We're going to position that one at the x at 7.5 and then the y at 0. Then let's right click, duplicate. Now we are going to resize that square to 2.5 by 1 inch. And we're going to position the x at 7.5 and the y at 3.5. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to position the x at 2.5 and the y at 3.5. Then we're going to grab it all and we're going to hit weld. Then we're going to go to shapes and get a score line. We're going to make that score line 2.5 inches long. We're going to place the X at 1.25 and the Y at 1. And making sure your box is still, the X is at 0 and the Y is at 0. Then right click, duplicate. We're going to place that one at the X at 2.5 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. The next one, the X is at 5 and the Y is at 1. Right click, duplicate. The X will be at 6.25 and the Y at 1. Right click, duplicate. The X will be at 7.5 and then the Y will be at 1. Right click, duplicate. The X will be at 10 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. We're going to place the X at 7.5 and then the Y at 3.5. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 7.5 and then the Y at 1. Then right click, duplicate. We're going to place the X at 2.5 and the Y at 1. Then we're going to right click, duplicate. The X we're going to place at 2.5 and the Y at 3.5. Then we're going to grab it all and we're going to hit attach. Then let's go to shapes, get a square. We are going to make the square 10.5 by 6.5, and this is going to be our card base. And then we're going to get a score line. We're going to make that score line 6.5 inches long, and we're going to place it in the middle at 5.25. Then we're going to grab it all and hit attach. Then we're going to go to shapes, get a square. We're going to make that square 5 by 6.25, and we're going to make 4 of these, one for each of the inside and outside of our car. And these will be, the gray pieces will be our pretty pieces. So these are all the pieces that you should have made already that we've just completed. Let's go ahead and go up to save and save our project and name it so we can have it. And then what we need to do is get all of our pieces cut out that we want, and then any extra pieces for the front and the inside of the card that you would like. And then I'll meet you back at the table and I'll show you how to put this together. So I'll see you at the table. And so now that we're at the table, let's go ahead and get started. So let's work our score line and then put our pretty paper on. Right, now that we have this on, what we can do is work our box. So let's get our box. And all we're going to do is work all of these score lines on here. And then what we can do is on these smaller tabs, we can just snip the corners off. All right. Then what we can do is fold your box flap on this end down, and then we want to fold this end to it so it all lines up nice and neatly. And then we're just going to put glue on this tab and then lay it back down. And it should be folding nice and neatly every which way. Okay. Now, get you a pencil or something you can draw a line with, and let's open our card up. And this is the best way I find it to make sure the box is laying the right way. We want our card to open this way. Okay, so what we're gonna do is the box is gonna come out like so when we open and close it. So we want to line this and this up on our score line so it's centered on it. And then these flaps we want on the inside so we don't see them. Okay, so I have my box. It's lined up on this side. Now it's lined up on that side. And all I'm doing is making sure this score line is on this score line here. And then once it's in place, you're going to take your pencil and we're just going to go in, and you're not going to see this, and just trace your tab. Doesn't have to be perfect. I can't even see my other side over there. Then what we can do is put glue on this, and that's my line right there that I've drawn. It's just to give me an idea where I need to place it. You want to make sure you have it centered or in the area you want it before you glue this down. And then what I like to do is just take this tab and I can push it in so it's not in the way, and then this tab I can line up like so, and then just give it a rub down. You want to make sure it's straight. And then I just push this tab back out, and then put glue on this side, and then we'll pull the card to us. And then we open it up, and there you have it. You do want to make sure these are worked really good so they'll lay flat when you go to close your card. Ta-da! Okay. Now what we can do is, let's go ahead and decorate our cat. Got all your pieces. Let's just move this to the side. And I decided to go with black and white on my cat. Now we can work our score lines here. And then if you want to go ahead and put your belly down, if you decided to go with the circle in the middle, we can do that. And what I did on my last card was I ended up taking, especially if you have a lot of layers here, and just gently cutting a little slit in the vinyl, not through your paper. And it really eased up and made this fold much easier. Don't go wild and crazy and cut all the way through. I'm gonna go ahead and let's put the face on here. Let's get our feet out too. So pick whichever side you would like to be the head, and it doesn't really matter. And your head will glue to this like so, just right above your score line. But before you put your head on, we need to decide where we want our paws. So let's go ahead and work our score line. And I think I like my first one like so. And you could, you know, put paws on this side, and so if somebody picked it up, they would see little paws. That would be cute. And then I'm just gonna glue it somewhere along here. Now for one of the paws, what I like to do is make it kind of turn his little paw sideways so they're both not like so. So once I find the area that I like it, so I think that's cute, I'm gonna line this score line up, and then I'm gonna make a new score line by just holding my hand here and folding it over my gray piece. And so now I've created this new, if you can see that, I think you probably can't, but this new score line. So now I'm gonna fold the new score line I made, which has made it diagonal. And then I'll just turn it over and put my glue on the new section. And that way it can just be unique every time instead of deciding where we want it to be. So then I'll just line the score line that I just made back up and then glue it down. And then we have a paw that's going differently. Then what we can do is take our glue and put it on our tab and put our head on. And I just kind of center it between the two paws. Now what we can do is take and glue these feet to our other end. These score lines really do not have to be worked. It's more of a guide to me where to put the glue. But if you don't want your paws up this high, you can for sure just scooch it down further. So I'm going to turn it this way. And that's how I'm gonna stick that one on. And I'm just gonna put glue on the other side. I just think those pink little paws are so cute. Now our tail, it can go anywhere you would like. So I think I'm going to put mine on like that. And then I like the tail behind the foot today. I'm going to do it that way. So before I put this in the box, I'm going to go decorate the rest of mine, and then I'll come back and show you how to put them in. So I'll see you in just a second. Okay guys, first the joke. So what did the plate say to his friend? Dinner's on me tonight. So now to put our cat on. This is really easy. We always want to make sure this is a valley fold for our cat, like so. Okay. And then we're just gonna squish him up like that. And then we're gonna fold our card down like so. And make sure you have your cat whichever way you want facing. So I want mine facing the head on this side. So what you do is put him down in here, fold it up, and you need to put him as far down so his ears don't stick out. So I can do him right there and I will have no issues. So what you can do is take him out, or you can leave him in and put glue, and you're just gonna put glue on your tab where the feet and the tail are at. And then we're just gonna pick this back up and slide him back down in there. And don't close it until you have him where you want him. So as long as your ears are not sticking out of your card, you just center him up and then push it down, and then you just adhere it to the box in there. And then we're gonna do the same thing. Open this up. So this is what mine is looking like so far. So I'm just gonna push him down like this and put glue on that same tab again on the opposite side. And then I'm just gonna shut my box back up again. And there you have it. So here it is, the card that I came up with this time. Its moving can be really stressful. It may not seem like it now, but eventually all the boxes will be gone. And then I just did this dolly with some boxes, and then we open it up and it says congrats on your new space. And then we have our cute little kitty cat that folds nice and neat up in the box. And then I just added the little Amazon logo. I thought that would be cute, like we're repurposing the box. And then down here I just did a box with some stuff in it, like it's been packed, and a place where we can write a message, of course. So that's it, guys. I would love to see what you guys have come up with. Please, if you would like, share it with me. My email. And that's it, guys. I just want to say thanks so much for crafting with me, and I'll see you next time.